So the only guarantee in SEO is that it's going to change. And in this video, I'll show you 5 predictions that you need to prepare for today.
Hey, what's up everybody? Brian Dean here, co-founder of Exploding Topics. And my big prediction for SEO in 2023 and beyond is that more SEO is going to be focused on updating content as opposed to creating new content. Now, of course, people are always going to be putting out new content and you should be publishing new stuff, going after new keywords and stuff like that. But I see more people focused on processes and different approaches to keeping content updated, and not just for the sake of updating it, but actually updating it to make it better over time. And that can be in a few different forms. It can be making sure content has up-to-date screenshots or information, up-to-date statistics. If it's in the health space, up-to-date research, just making sure that content, when someone lands on it, is either the most up-to-date piece on the internet or one of the most up-to-date pieces. I see this being a big deal because the ROI in updating content is insane, but it's still sort of early in terms of how to actually execute the process. So that's my prediction, and I'll see you later.
So let's start with SEO prediction number 1, which is you should expect fewer clicks.
Okay, so one of the biggest reasons why you can expect fewer SERP clicks or just fewer clicks from Google in general is because of how Google is structuring the SERPs in the current time. So when we look at this, you're gonna see a few things. First of all, for this keyword buy winter jackets, which is very transactional in nature, we're naturally gonna see a lot of ads. So we're gonna see an ad block here above the fold, which is to be expected. We're gonna see some other labels up here. And so we'll keep scrolling down here. So first we have an ad block. We have an entire local pack that pushes the second result way below the fold. And then scroll down here, we have another whole set of ads that are pushing all the other results down the fold. And then the people also ask section, and then more ads. So ranking in this particular environment, you really can't get results unless you're ranking in the top 5. You can start to get pretty good results, but realistically, you probably need to be in the top 3 if you see that the SERPs are like this. And so this is why it's so critical when you're doing keyword research that you look at Google, like just whatever keyword you want to go after, look at Google and actually see what is Google showing. And from here, you can roughly estimate how the organic CTR is going to be. And then you could potentially estimate what the return on investment is going to be. So back in the day, we could just take the search volume for a keyword and then just calculate based on where we're going to rank what the CTR is going to be and ultimately what the return on investment is going to be. But it's not that way anymore because the CTR is not as clear cut as it used to be. And so what we do is we'll take whatever the traditional CTR is. Let's say the number 1 spot is 30%, okay? And what we'll do when we see results that are like this, that are very rich in all kinds of SERP features, we'll just cut that in half. So we'll say number 1 is actually, instead of it's going to be 30%, it's going to be 15%. Number 2, instead of 15%, it's going to be 7%, right? So we're chopping it in half, assuming that we're going to be getting less clicks. And so it's better to be on the conservative side when it comes to estimating the amount of traffic that you're going to get from Google for any given keyword that you're going after.
Yo, this is Matt Diggity from Diggity Marketing, the affiliate lab in the Chiang Mai SEO conference. In 2023, my prediction is that Parasite SEO will continue to dominate search results, especially for affiliate queries. What's Parasite SEO? If you look at the search result for an affiliate keyword like best CBD for dogs, you'll see that page 1 is blanketed by online news sites with huge domain ratings. If we open up this Miami Herald article, you'll see that this is a sponsored post by Paradise Media, meaning that they paid the Miami Herald to get this post and piggyback off their authority. In 2022, Google put out multiple updates that should have impacted Parasite SEO. For example, the product reviews update that calls for insightful analysis and original research and is written by experts or enthusiasts who know the topic well, as well as the helpful content update, which calls for more of the same, but also that sites have a primary focus. If Parasite SEO survived both of these updates, which sounded like doomsday for the tactic, then it's clearly not on Google's radar. So, Parasite away.
SEO prediction number 2 is that indexing will continue to be a problem.
Okay, so the other issue that we're currently dealing with in the SEO world is that Google has gotten incredibly slow at indexing new content, even in indexing new changes to pages. And there's a lot of speculation about why that may be. But we can expect that that's probably going to be the same, if not worse. And my conspiracy theory is that Google is allocating resources to crawling and indexing. They actually have to use processing power to crawl all of these pages on the internet and then also index them. And that requires resources. And when we use resources, they're using money. And we have to remember that Google is a public company that is responsible for increasing earnings and being profitable. Okay, that's what they must do to please their shareholders. So they're always looking for ways to improve profitability. They're kind of reducing how frequently they crawl sites and pages, and they're also reducing the amount of pages that they'll put into the index, because the more it's in the index, the more data that's required to keep those in the index and ultimately have those be crawled. So with that said, the good news is that you can get your pages indexed. So I wanted to show you a quick example. So I have, ironically, this one is about Google, but I just wanted to show you is this post was really starting to get dated. I published it originally in 2020 and it slowly started to fall off on performance. So I said, okay, let's go and upgrade it, improve it. So I just did some basic upgrades on it. And then what I did is I just changed the publish date to the current date. And then I took that post and I just went like this. I copied it. I went into the page indexing up here in the inspect, and I just did this. And once this loads, what we want to do is we can just do request indexing. And so I do this on every single post that we update and upgrade. So whenever we update it, either from an optimization perspective or actually modifying the content, I just do a request indexing. This isn't entirely necessary. Like if you have a website that already has authority and already has a lot of backlinks, you probably won't need to do this. But because I'm impatient, I want Google to index my changes, and I want to see the impact of those changes that we made. So this is one way to do it. But also if you're working on a new site, this is one way for Google to discover your new URLs. Okay, and then after you've done Google Search Console and you've submitted a URL or many URLs, the next thing you have to do actively is build more links. And that's the number one way to not only get your pages indexed, but get Google to recrawl your site as frequently as possible. And so you have to think about it. Every time you build a link to your site, you're really building a pathway. And that's what we need to think about as links. These are pathways to our website. So the more pathways we have from other websites that also have pathways, it is much more likely that we're going to get Google to actually crawl, if we think about it as a spider web, to actually crawl and end up on our website. And we have to get Google to crawl our site to ultimately get it indexed. Okay, so backlinks are the way that we can make this happen. And so if your site isn't getting crawled or getting indexed the way that you would like, it's more than likely going to be a link issue. Links resolve almost all indexing issues in my experience. Obviously, using Google Search Console is nice and it can certainly help, but what will really resolve about 95% of your indexation issues, as long as you've covered all the basics, obviously, is building more links to your site.
SEO prediction number 3 is that Google will detect and penalize bad AI content.
Okay, so it's no secret that AI is becoming very, very popular. And so if we can see this graph here, you can tell that there are a lot of people who are very interested in AI writing tools. And the main reason is because it can really help you scale your SEO content creation in general. And so it is a exploding market and it cannot be ignored. But at the same time, whenever there's something that's really easy for people to do, there's always going to be a segment of people that just always take shortcuts, right? So these AI writing tools are already a shortcut. So you really shouldn't be taking additional shortcuts, but that's just the natural human behavior here. But what we need to do is, if you're going to use these AI tools, which I'll be showing you later on in this video, how to actually create AI-driven content that actually works and is basically undetectable from getting penalized. But the type of AI content that's going to get penalized by Google is just the really auto-generated nonsense. And so what I did is I actually went into Jasper and I generated a little content. I just wanted to show you. So I generated a little content here and then I put it through just this little free tool, okay? And this is auto-generated, okay? I just auto-generated this content based on this simple prompt AI writing tool. And as you can tell, pretty quickly, even this tool, which is not incredibly advanced and it's actually only doing GPT-2, it already can tell it's fake, okay? So this is not gonna work. This is not the type of content that's gonna really help us rank, and ultimately this is not the type of content that's gonna keep you safe from penalties, okay? There's a better way to do this, and I'll be showing you in a second what that looks like. But the point is, if you're gonna use AI, treat the AI as if it's a writer on your team. Have the same editorial standards, have the same process, and really take it seriously. And even when you do have a process in place, it's still way faster and way more scalable and way more profitable to use AI. Okay, so I showed you what bad AI content looks like, but now let me show you how you can actually create AI content that's pretty much undetectable by Google, but is actually high quality and satisfies the search intent for the keyword that you're going after. And that's the thing that people don't understand about AI is they think because it's AI written that it's bad. And that is not true. Our goal with the content that we create on Google or for Google and for ranking purposes is to satisfy the intent of the keyword. That is the goal of every piece of content that we create around a keyword. So if an AI can do that well and as well as a manually written piece of content or a writer, then the outcome is the same, okay? And so once again, AI is not where it needs to be to replace really high quality direct response copywriting. It's not going to replace that at this point, but it will probably soon. But at this point, it's good for more informational type of content. So for AI writing tools, the best thing to do is actually just go to Google and see what shows up. So if we look at this, we'll go ahead and take a look, and it looks like the top results are basically list posts, okay? And so what we can do is we can probably create a very similar list post. So in this case, it looks like they did top 10 free AI writing assistants for 2022. That's pretty good. And this one's best AI writing tools for 2022. So what I would do is I would just take something similar to this. So we'll make this our topic here and we'll just do best AI writing tools for 2022. And then what you want to do is start looking at the search results and see what are the tools that are showing up here, okay? So we can actually go into this one here and just actually see which ones are showing up. So we'll look at Writer, Jasper, Paragraph AI. We'll just do a small example here so we can see. So what I like to do is I like to have a separate window open and then I'll actually paste that primary tool in there. And then what I want to do is I'll do something like about the Paragraph AI or whatever the tool is, or I'll do Paragraph AI review, okay? And you'll see that this will put out different content based on this. So we can see what it shows up with. And what I'm doing is I want Jasper to create something that is completely based on this one tool, because then I'm going to take the content from this and I'm going to put it in the main piece of content. Okay, so the way to make this content perform better and ultimately be more unique is you just need to obviously get rid of stuff that you're not going to include in the content itself. So a lot of this, like the conclusion stuff, I don't need. We'll go ahead and just eliminate this. And we're just going to copy this right here. And I just want to show you when we put this through the tool, it's not going to perform super well. It's going to be probably fake, okay? So about 99% fake according to this tool, all right? But we're going to take this same content and we're going to put it through Grammarly, all right? So we put it through Grammarly, we cleaned it all up. It's a little bit better. Copy this and we're going to put it back through. And so as you can tell, it's already better just on that alone. This is without manually editing this content, by the way. I'm just showing you the fast version of doing this. So we take this and I'm actually going to put this in here and we're going to do Paragraph AI and we'll make that a separate heading. Okay. And so now we already have one of these particular results for the AI writing tools. And then we'll do it again. We'll do Jasper #1. Okay. So we'll do Jasper #1. We'll go ahead and generate again. Right, so we're gonna do this. We'll do Jasper AI writing tool. And this one did a little bit better than the last one. It's about 50-50. So then we'll just start to improve this using Grammarly. Okay, so I went through and cleaned this up, add some bullet points, and I used Grammarly in a little bit of manual cleanup, just took a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and run this through the tool once again. And as you'll tell, it's real now. Okay, so that's all it took. So I just took that and now we're gonna put this into the primary page itself. And now this content's starting to get pretty comprehensive, okay? So, and you can also tell that it's getting better for Surfer as well. So this is the simple process that I go through. Nothing complex, but just go through one at a time, each bullet point at a time. This works really well for list posts, okay? It's really, really powerful for list posts. But there's so much you can do, and ultimately these tools are as good as you make them. They're as good as the inputs that you put in, right? That's all that matters. So what we do is we just build it section by section. We use Grammarly, we use Hemingway to improve the content itself. We run it through these tools to make sure that it's unique. So then we'll do is we'll actually have someone manually go through and clean this up. They may delete sentences, rework the content a little bit, but most importantly what they do is they'll add personality to the content. Okay, they'll add personality, they'll make it more engaging, and that's what really makes the difference. Okay, but even then, with all of these things in place, this is still way faster, way more scalable, and way more profitable. But the problem is that people, if they're just going to auto-generate content, even these little simple tools can detect it very easily. So just imagine what Google can do. So really think about this as a process and not just a way to create content super fast.
SEO prediction number 4 is that TikTok SEO will keep growing in popularity.
So for years, there have been all kinds of search engines that have tried to compete with Google, and they've always tried to just basically create a Google replica. And the reason why it hasn't worked is because it's not going to change people's behavior to stop using Google. But TikTok is making things very interesting because there are a lot of people who really use it as a search engine, especially Gen Z. Now, this idea that TikTok is going to replace Google as a traditional search engine is a little far-fetched, right? It's definitely not going to do that. And people still go to Google to get the information that they need. But Google is fully aware that TikTok is emerging as a search engine and as a search engine for people to find things that they want. But there are certain verticals where it's not going to make a difference. Like, for example, if you search for an electrician, you're not going to use TikTok probably to find an electrician near you. It's just not really going to happen. Maybe in the future they'll be better at that, but more than likely that's not the place you would really go to find someone like that. However, if you're looking for a restaurant recommendation or something like that, then that might work, right? That might work on TikTok. But with that said, the main point that I want to kind of elaborate here is that when we look at the search results, there are TikTok videos that are actually showing up in the search results. So this cannot be ignored, okay? We cannot ignore that these short videos are actually showing up in the search results because that's another opportunity for us to occupy more SERP real estate, okay? Whenever we see something or a type of media or a type of content that's occupying the SERPs, then we need to also be attacking that as well. For example, let's say you only create text-based content, but you see all of these images that are ranking, okay? Well, it would be foolish to try to rank for this keyword just using text because clearly Google is telling you that this particular keyword has visual intent, right? It has visual intent. People click on images, people share images. So they have the data to prove that this actually has visual intent. And the fact that it has meme in it, it's pretty easy for them to make that conclusion, but it's also based on how users interact when they search this particular keyword. And in this case, Google is giving us a clear indication that it has visual intent. It also has video intent. Like there's a little short videos that are about this exact topic as well. And so for you to really get the most out of this, first of all, yeah, you can go on TikTok and start to build your presence there. You absolutely should. But the other thing is you have to consider is that Google owns YouTube, okay? And Google's always going to do whatever best for Google, okay? They don't care about making TikTok more successful, right? That's not their job. What they want is they want Google to be successful and they want to crush their competition. So what they'll do is, and they've already put this in motion, is they have these shorts now, okay? So you can go on YouTube and obviously on your phone or on desktop, you can start to see these shorts. And my prediction is maybe not next year, maybe not in 2 years, but very, very soon, instead of seeing these little videos from TikTok, you're going to start seeing videos from YouTube Shorts, okay? And that's going to start to replace a lot of this because Google's going to prioritize its own products and its own content that it technically, quote unquote, owns on its own platforms versus its competitors. So just keep an eye on that. It's definitely something that you should be paying attention to. Bare minimum, you should be messing around with creating short content, either for TikTok or for YouTube, regardless of the platform. It's more about the type of content that's becoming very, very popular. And you can't ignore that short content is something that people are starting to get really used to. So mess around with it a little bit when you get the chance.
And my final SEO prediction is that traditional blogging will have a slow, painful death.
It may not happen next year, it may not happen in 2 years, but I personally believe that the days of traditional blogs are over. Okay, there used to be many years ago, you would get your favorite blogs and you put them in your bookmark tab, and then you would revisit those blogs all the time to see what they're up to, what they published. And that just really isn't the way that people behave as much anymore. Most people are on Twitter and they're getting updates on Twitter, or they're on social media, and that's where they're getting that fix as far as getting new content from people and staying in touch with people and seeing ultimately and learning all these good things. It's all happening there in a much faster speed, in a much compressed amount of content. So with that said, Seth Godin is really, really popular for publishing every single day on his blog. So he is the exception and not the rule, okay? Because this is just something that he's maintained for many, many years, and it will continue to work well for him. But for most people, if you tried to do this, you would probably fail, because it's just not the way that people behave anymore with blogs. But with that said, blogs in general are not dead. It's just the way that a blog should be used that does need to change. But the data supports this. This isn't just my opinion, because when we look at this, and this is from Exploding Topics, you can see that just even the concept of being a blogger has really started to fall pretty hard, okay? It really got popular here 2017 or so, and then now it's just been a slow decline, okay? And that's just an indication that this idea of being a blogger is no longer at least the terminology that people use. And instead they're using other things, like they're using vlogger, okay? And we can tell video content has just been exploding for a long time now, and that's only going to be the way forward. It's really the number one type of content that's consumed online. So you really can't ignore these graphs and ultimately continue down this path. So with that said, blogging though, as a medium is not dead. It's just the way that we use it to get the most out of it. But what I recommend doing is continuing to use your blog for SEO purposes. And so, I'm pretty strict about this when we're working on campaigns, but I pretty much tell our clients, we're only going to create blog content if it's going to get some sort of visibility in Google. We're going to get some sort of organic traffic from it. Otherwise, if you're going to use it just for a content marketing play, that's okay in some cases, but I think about 80% of the content that you create on your blog should be built around a keyword. One keyword, so then we can actually drive organic visibility. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. So 80% should be SEO driven. The other 20% can be content marketing type of assets like case studies and things that actually deeper into the funnel. That's okay too. But if you're going to try to just blog in general and just kind of write whatever you want, that's just not really going to work. And honestly, that didn't really ever work for many people. That works for Seth, but that didn't work for many people that just try to write random stuff. It's not going to work super well. So create content around keywords, especially if your site is new. And this is not to say that blogging is dead. It's just the way that we use blogs has changed a lot. And so I expect this trend to continue to go down. But like I said, your blog is for informational content. It's for keywords that have informational intent. If it doesn't have informational intent and it's more transactional in nature, then it should probably be on a page, not a blog post.
So those are all of our SEO predictions. So please like and subscribe to my channel because I have tons of new SEO training videos coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.